welcome to my little palace. So I'm delighted to welcome you here.
That is fantastic. Really like bedroom. I love it.
Birds need light.
Yeah.
I mean, having said that, if you look at the native birds, this time of year when they breed in the darkest part of the tree.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure that they need as much light to actually breed. I think they need seclusion in them. So we try and replicate as far as we can, you know. One of the tricks I use is putting a little card to cover the nest itself, and it gives that bird a little bit of shelter. I know people put bits of foliage and plastic plants and things like that on the front of cages. I don't do that. Just to give them a little bit of shelter, and you can, it's a record card. Just, you know, it's actually an old cornflakes packet. You can only use one side of it. But waste not, want not.
Have you always done that?
Yeah. And then you can transfer the information into a book. I used to keep all sorts of information, all sorts of records. You know, did the hen feed? How many days was she in? Did she come off and why? But next year, and I thought at that stage, it's all information and it's useful.
Oh, you keep it? Yeah.
I don't now.
You don't know what you
All I do now is I keep the cockbird, the hen bird, and the chicks. That's it. So I've got the record of parentage. Because next year, that hen may not react the same way. The weather conditions are not going to be the same anyway. Right. Whereas she fed this year, and maybe she won't next time.
Really?
Yeah, they're just so temperamental, you can't really tell. So all that information is great information. It teaches you, but you can throw it away and start again next year. So that's what I do. I just keep a list of what I've bred, what it's bred from, end of story. This is, I don't know, the third or the fourth incarnation of this particular bird shed. I built it probably about 1980. Straight away, it was one continual bird room. I've reduced it because I noticed when we were using it originally, the wind used to come in from that corner, and canaries can't stand wind. So I sectioned it off as a baffle, and it's big enough for me. So I used to have all sorts of built-in cages all the way around. I used to have a worktop along there, and I keep changed my mind. I've now gone for, these are plastic cages. They're homemade. I'm not a joiner or a carpenter, so it's a bit rough and ready, but it works. Each cage is a 2-foot cage by a foot deep. They're about 16 inches high, so they're big enough for one pair to breed. And you can see I've got cock and a hen in there. And I do things to keep it easy for myself. So they have one perch, they have one seed hopper, they have one water pot, and that's as far as they go. These hatched on the 23rd. I keep my records on a card at this stage. 2 chicks. The hen rears them herself. So they're a fortnight old, give or take today. It'll be a yellow cock or a buff cock bird there, and the paler one will be a buff hen. Good, bad or indifferent, we don't know, but here they are. And she's making a good job of them. So the clothes rung, and she'll be quite happy with the chicks there. I have another pair here. Again, not laid eggs yet. This one's laying eggs currently. She's on there. I've opened the cage up to a 4-foot long cage because I've got the space to do so. There's a pair here just on the points of laying singles. She's sitting on eggs. Eggs. I've seen this pair. She just had a nest which should have come out today, but unfortunately it was clear eggs. There's a little chick in there. In and out of the nest now, so that can be moved later on today. Eggs there. This yellow cockbird is the father of these 2 chicks, so he's running with more than one hen. Some people have all the luck. And so you go on around the room. There's about 50 or so young chicks at the moment, all in various stages. 20 or so in the nest, maybe a few more, and then all the birds behind you and at this side. And again, they're all this year's babies that have been moved away.
How long have you kept Yorkshires?
Since it was 8.
Since you was 8?
8 years old, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Friend of my father's bred Yorkshires, and we went along and picked a trio. We kept them in the living room in the house because my dad wasn't certain that I'd be into it, and went to prove that I was cleaning them out, I was looking after them. Then we built a little 6-foot by 8-foot wooden shed over in Manchester where I was born and bred. I helped him build it, which probably took him 4 times as long.
It sounds similar to my story, you know.
Well, yeah, so it gave me some skills of how to bodge jobs, you know.
Well, my dad built mine, and it wasn't. Sorry, Dad, but it wasn't very good. It was bad, but it was my first hurdle.
Yeah.
You know, with birds, did you find it was instinct to like them?
I don't know. I mean,
Because for me, it was kind of like instinct.
I was a country lad, so I was, you know, there was always birds or animals around me, so I was comfortable with animals. I got a dog, and I used to, even as a kiddie, I'd roam, and I'd be out from first light until supper time, you know.
Really, yeah.
Just wandering around. I'd fall in rivers, I'd go swimming in canals, and you know.
Sounds fantastic.
But those were the days, you know. But yeah, so it was a natural extension for me to keep birds. There was always people. Every other house kept pigeons, or they had an aviary outside.
I remember saying about this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pigeons.
So, you know, it was Dr. Doolittle's where I was living. There was always someone who was an expert in something. Whether they were expert or not, I don't know. But, you know,
I love
animals.
Yeah, I love that packet idea though. It's just so simple, but it's clever.
Yes. The whole thing is, I've built it all on simplicity. I mean, all this is roofline PVC. So it's built.
Did you build them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you built them yourself?
Yeah, built them myself.
Wow.
And this is just a bull nose.
Oh yeah, it's just
So it's a tray you can
That's
pull
clever.
it out. Yeah.
You just quickly pull it out.
Yeah, I've left a gap there so that I can slide a wire front and keep them off the cage floor. Should I want to? They do that a lot on the continent.
I've
If
seen
you
that,
look at
like
the
a
old
wire-
wire cages.
yeah.
It's a wire mesh. That doesn't hurt the bird's feet at all. You know, I've used wire cages myself, and it works. I used to think that birds picked up stale food. They tend not to. They go for fresh food. And I'm lucky in that I can be in 3 and 4 times a day to give them fresh food, especially the youngsters. So picking the stale food up doesn't really...
Is that what that tray's meant to do?
That's what it's meant to do. Yeah, it makes it easy to clean. And say I just give them the fresh food throughout the day. And it works, you know.
So how do you go about, like for somebody that's starting out, the chicks are brilliant. How do you breed a Yorkshire? What's the...
Bird husbandry is the same. But certainly for any canary. And finches are very much the same as well, British finches. But you need birds to be in good, fit, healthy condition.
Yeah.
You want the eggs to be fertile. And that's the first thing. So the hen has to be in good condition, but the cock has to be in super good condition. Especially when you run the cock with multiple partners.
Oh, is that what you do?
Which is what I do. I've only got 12 cock birds in the whole room here.
Right.
And I've about 24 hens that I'm breeding from. Some work and some don't work, you never know. But the cock's got to maintain that. And the way you do that with cock birds is to feed them wheat germ and vitamin E.
Right.
If you get that into them, then you'll improve their vigour. And it's their their song and activities that'll bring the hens on, as well as daylight. And you mentioned about natural daylight. That's a great conditioner.
Yeah, this room has got...
That's
It's just full of natural...
Yeah, natural light and plenty of fresh air.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sometimes it's a bit too fresh.
Yeah. Incubation, is it 14?
It's 14 days.
14 days.
Give or take. The early part of the year, it can be as much as 17 days. It depends on the hen, how closely she'll sit on the eggs. I've had a problem this year in that I'm getting nests of 1s and 2s more than nests of 3s, 4s, 5s. I've had a few. So there's something not quite right.
Right. Which I think the clutch should be 4, 3 to 4.
Yeah, I'd rather have 3 to 4. I like 3 because if you're breeding 4 or more, there's always a smaller chick, and it's a weakling. Ultimately, you're probably going to lose it anyway. But if she's got 3, 2's fine. But if she's got 3, they'll support each other when they're young
like
in the nest. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they get fed. They get a fair share of the food. It's great, you know.
Are you taking the eggs out, or? And that's a big.
Yes and no.
Right.
I take the eggs away when they're laid, and I give them dummy eggs.
Right.
Then I let the hen sit them. Once they're about 10 days or so, if it's a pair that I particularly want, and I've got the mosaic canaries free, I'll switch some of the eggs to them.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes I'll even split them 2 and 2, so that, you know, I've got one nest between different hens, in case it's just playing the percentages, and do it that way. The mosaics are new to me this year. I've had them in the past.
Yeah, we'll have a look. I'll have a look at them.
Yeah. And they've reared a dozen or so, but my Yorkshire's done the main. I use them as opposed to out and out feeders. I use them as belt and braces, really.
Yeah. Safety net.
Yeah, that's right, and it's working for me. I don't need the birds to overwork. Some of them will only have one nest, and then I'll change it. And some of them haven't had a nest at all this time, you know. But of the 12 cocks, I've got young off 10 of them. I've had young and lost them off one, and one I've no young from. But that's it. I want him to a particular hen, and she's not playing. So, but otherwise, they're doing all right. Yeah, I have a variety. I think of 6 or 7 pairs of mosaics. Of the red mosaic, which are my favourite, to be fair. I like them because they're not in prime variety, and I don't intend to show. I've got some show cages, but I don't intend to show them really. The goldfinch blaze tells you that's the cockbird. The hen has either a clear head or 2 little eye marks, and then they have just the colour points. You don't want too much down the front of the breast on the cock, but you will get some. Yeah, so that's the pair. Just a little bit of red down the front there. The hen's chewed his tail, as you see on that one.
How long have you had them? Right.
Well, I only got them about March time.
They're nice as well.
They're lovely.
Cinnamon.
No, that's called a grey wing. I've got a pair of grey wings here.
A grey wing.
Yeah. Again, it's a mosaic, so you can see the colour patterns. It's not as distinct on that, but it's a grey wing hen and a red cockbird.
Do you think you need them really?
I think you need them as a backup, definitely. Yeah. Here's a pair of. In fact, I don't know if you can see in this one. They've just got a single chick. This is a rescue chick. In that it was with a Yorkie. She only hatched the one, and you could tell immediately she wasn't going to rear it. So it's gone to the mosaic. She'd actually only just laid eggs. So the mosaic, the feeder, yeah.
Do the mosaics? Do they need to be in condition themselves?
Yeah, they do.
You can't just say
you can't just rump them in. You need to be in the nest.
Yeah.
But she'd laid a couple of eggs, so I thought, well, you can carry on laying around it if need be. But she stopped laying and started feeding it. So, you know, it's, I don't know, a week or so old there, just over, maybe 9 days. I would have certainly have lost it. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing what that one looks like.
This is the chick that the mosaics are rearing.
They're rearing that one, and say they're doing a good job. They've actually... There was method in my madness because they've already reared 2 of their own mosaic babies. So I'll show you those in a second. So I knew there would be a good pair would feed. But single chicks are always the hardest to rear because they're on their own, and sometimes they won't push the hen up to get them to feed. Yeah, so it's the hen on the right, the buff hen, and yellow cockbird. He's a good cockbird, and I know he's fertile. I've already got chicks off him. But this hen was paired to a different cockbird, and she wasn't quite fit enough. So he pecked her on the head, scalped the whole of her head out, and it's just grown back in now. So hopefully she'll regain her fitness, and she's in and out the nest now. So maybe I'll get a nest of eggs from her. If not, well, she'll have to take potluck with next year's crop of youngsters. I don't know. Yeah, so with a nest of 3, the hungry one, she's the smallest one. These 2 will stand up and fight, and they'll get the lion's share of the food. That's the problem. We should be all right and rear those now. What I tend to do is, once the young have left the nest, I let them hop around with the mum for a couple of days till either I see them picking up, or at least they're big enough to be self-supporting. Then I move them into this side, and I put them in groups of 2 or 3. So it's not a single chick and they don't mope. And one then follows the other. So if one picks up food, the other one will go on the pot and pick up food. If they don't and I see them crying, well, I just put them back to the mum, leave them for a day and try again the next day. So weaning them is a simple matter. I always put the perches low down. And I only put 1 perch, so they're not flying backwards and forwards, because they're only 3 weeks old, coming on 4 weeks old. So the feet are tender. You don't want them to fly, and anything will startle them, and to bang into the end of the perch and jar and hurt the feet. So that's my method. And obviously on a paper tray, and move the papers every day or so, just get some of the stale food and muck out. Once they get to about 5 weeks or so, then they've grown, the body's grown, the tails are getting a bit longer, so I single them off, and they just go into a single cage then, and you can start to train them for the shows, and they run into a Yorkshire show cage, training cage, and start to show themselves as the bird that you want to see then. Well, you want a Yorkshire to have a high leg anyway. You want to see the thigh.
Yeah, that's
because it stands up in the show cage.
Yeah.
And you know, it's there from an early age. It's only the feather covering the leg. That's why you don't see it normally.
What would your prep be for showing a bird?
What I tend to do is you start at the age these birds are now. Bit of better cage than that.
How old would your bird be, do you reckon?
I'll start them at about this age.
Right.
My patent little an S hook just to hang it on the cage door there, and that hangs on, and once the birds are familiar, they'll come in and out of the cage.
Yeah, just put the what's it called,
The show training cage.
Show training cage on the, and it just hooks on with that little, and as soon as it's done it,
over there.
yeah.
Here we are, we've got 2 of them.
Oh,
They just hop in.
It just hops in a second.
So,
Look at that. Well trained then, Brian.
Well, they're just starting these. They're not.
They always go in a cage that quickly.
Oh yeah, they take 2 or 3 days to become familiar. Well, there we go.
It's just gone in the cage straight away.
Yeah, and they'll stand up and
Wow.
So they've had a bath, so the feathers are too tight to the body at the minute. They're not fully dried out, but they take a little time to what we call find the legs. Sometimes they'll just go in and they'll just sit there and sit down. And once they get that confidence, they start to stand up and look around then. And he's getting that. I'm saying he. I'm assuming that's a cockbird.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of them are declared themselves yet, but I would say that's a yellow cockbird.
Right.
Come on.
Are they good singers?
They are excellent singers. Yeah, yeah. They're louder than a smaller canary, but they still got the melody. And
oh, we go.
It's one of the mistakes I've
is it?
there. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, training them just a question of handling the show cage, letting them become confident with people.
There was almost like bent over.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Up they go. Cockbirds, that's a trait. You see where they grip the wire?
So this is a colour-fed bird.
So that's a colour-fed bird. He's a 2-year-old now.
Oh, it's a 2-year-old. He's got some nice shape.
Yeah.
Look at his head.
And when he molts...
Lovely bird, Brian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Fantastic.
They do sing. I think his eyesight's going if you think that's a breeding hen. It's not quite, you know.
Yeah, that's what he thinks. And he's,
You feed them, it's called carafill, and there are different types. This is carafill orange, and it's just
it's very dark, isn't it?
very, very dark, yeah. I will put
Dark.
no more than that much into 2 kilos of soft food, and that'll do
So you put
the
in
whole
soft food
yeah,
itself.
yeah. That
Right.
will colour the food for the whole shed for at least a day.
Right, just that.
Just that much, yeah. Probably that's too much in fairness.
You're not putting it in the water, you put it in the food.
If you put it in the water, it will dilute, and it'll colour the water a reddy colour, but it'll colour the cage, it'll colour the floor, and you'll never get it off.
Right, just cleaner.
So it's just a mess.
Just cleaner.
So it's a lot easier. People used to think if they put it in the water, they've got to drink, so it's a better idea. It is, but if you think it's coloured the whole of the water, but the goodness sinks to the bottom, the drink from the top.
Yeah.
All right, tubular drinkers correct that to a degree, but no, it's far better. They like the soft food. If it's fresh, they're straight to it. So there's no issue. But that's the difference. And once that molts through and it's been on the colour food, it'll be that colour, if not a bit darker. He's probably faded a little bit.
This is 2-year-old bird.
2-year-old to, well, I don't know, about 12 weeks, that's 10 weeks.
Where did the Yorkshire come from? Is it the old
Bradford.
Bradford?
Yeah. If you go back, and you're going back into the mid 1850s, 1860s, there was a bird that the Lancashire people were breeding in the cotton mills and what have you. And it was called a Lancashire canary.
I've seen a Lancashire.
And it was a
Once,
big
yeah.
plain bird, similar to a Yorkshire, just stood up, but it was more sausagified. All the way, it was one, all the way down. Big, strong, wide head, big, strong shoulders. And you only wanted clear birds. And some of them had a plain head like these, which they call plain head, and some had a crest. And it's like a horseshoe-shaped crest, called a copy. And the Yorkshire people were looking at this and think we should have a bird.
Right.
So they
came about?
and they invented their own bird. And the breeders around the Bradford area took it up, and they produced the Yorkshire canary, which was formed from a Lancashire, paired into what was a Belgian canary, which was one of these. They stand up and then the number 7 shape, so
I've seen
the
them.
neck was elongated,
Yeah.
and that's how they got a bit more shoulder and the legs, and how it came up off the perch like that, because it was a very nervous bird, the old-fashioned Belgians, and that's how they came out, and it was a straight back again. And in those days, they were all nondescript compared to what they are now, because they've been developed and developed and developed, but they were thin. Whereas we put more emphasis on the shape, on the carrot shape of the bird, as the birds evolved and the models evolved and standards of perfection, you know. So these will be unrecognisable to the people who invented the breed.
Really, it's changed a lot.
Oh, completely. Flighted is over the year.
Over the year, yeah.
Yeah. In the first molt, they don't molt the wing flights, nor do they molt the tail. So they're called unflighted.
Right.
At the second molt, that's the first molt, the baby molt, if you like.
Right.
Next year's molt, the first molt, that's when they become an adult bird. And then they do molt those feathers. Now, because we want a long bird in the Yorkshire, what we do is we pull that tail out. And I'll do that end of July.
You pull it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll just show you how I'm not going to pull the feathers, but I'll show you how we do it.
You remove them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I did it now, the feathers, they hook in, as opposed to, they're not glued in or anything, but they hook into the body. Now, what you do is you fan out the tail like that. You put your finger over the rump and you click, pull.
Really?
And go click, 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 click. It's seconds and it just comes out. And it comes out easily at that time of year because the feathers are loose, ready to molt.
When is it exactly? When should that?
End of July.
End of July.
Yeah. And it takes 6 to 8 weeks for a tail to regrow. So you're talking of September, so it's ready for the early October shows then, with a full. And the difference is that whereas that's a bit ragged, that tail at the minute, it'll be that 1/4 inch longer and nice, neatly piped and everything.
Yeah.
Now, you asked the question of why do I let the hens rear on their own and not the cockbirds? Cockbirds like that, when he wants another hen, and then another hen, another hen. Because that's the job I've raised him to do, and I've trained him to do it, if you like. Because from an early age, I've moved him from hen to hen to hen, and never let him stay. So I'm not creating a pair bond.
Yeah. So they're used to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's what he wants anyway.
Oh yeah, it's exactly. Yeah. Now if you look at this is a baby bird.
Oh, look at that.
And straight away you'll see the difference on his head. Now the feathers haven't fully opened yet. When that was just out of the nest, it was actually his brother. His brother is the father. That was a single chick. And it was out of the nest, been out a couple of days, and I thought I'll let him go. I'll let him go again.
Beautiful.
I went indoors to get myself a cup of tea, brewed the kettle, made the tea, came in here, took 5 minutes, and the whole of his head had been plucked, and it was the cockbird. Because he saw him as a rival and he wanted that hen. So he's mating the hen, pulling some feathers out, going back. I thought I'll pull you out before there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Now he didn't damage the bird. It's all coming back. But it's just those spiny little feathers coming through. You've got to open yet. And then you'll see the orange colour. You see a bit down the back where he's lost feathers. That's why we that's why we colour feed them at this age. Because they do have accidents where feathers come out.
Can you colour feed all year round, or is it
you don't need to?
Not beneficial.
No, all you need to do is get it into them before they molt. Once they're molted, then the feathers formed and the blood supply blocks off once it's a fully developed feather.
Right.
So you're doing nothing then. What we do is we tend to colour feed about once a week after they're molted,
right?
In case they lose a feather. Because there's still some colour in the system, and it's going to come in and blend in. But otherwise, you'd have that two-tone effect, and we don't want that. Paired up mainly to breed lighter coloured birds this year. I used to breed a lot of dark birds. There's one behind you. Green.
I like the greens, I must admit.
I do, but I don't want a shed full.
Yeah.
If we could still sell birds abroad, pre-Brexit, there was no problem. Now we can't get them out of the country.
Right.
Foreign breeders, foreign fanciers, they prefer the dark bird to the light because they think it's a stronger, more vigorous bird.
Right.
Because they think it's closer to the original wild canary. And that was 1600.
No. Is it? No.
But
I have got
an idea. But
I have got a thing for greens.
I like them. Yeah.
I don't know why, but maybe.
Well, Liverpool used to have what's called a Liverpool green. And again,
really?
I'm going back to 1900.
What, Yorkshire?
Before. Yeah.
Really? Does that still exist?
No.
Ah.
No. It
Can
was
it be bred back
nowhere. Yes and no. It was nowhere near the bird that the normal Yorkshires were.
Right.
Because it had just been bred for colour, whereas the others were bred to shape and the model. So because it was bred for colour, that's all they concentrated on. So it had a beautiful colour, real grass green, and the striations were all shown. And well, at least he's got the sex right this time. That'll be a young buff hen. So I've not bred to breed variegated dark birds. I've whittled them out. You want some. But you don't want all. But I mean, I can see already that's going to be a bird that I'm looking to keep, I would think.
What other variations can you get in colours?
You get white ones.
White?
You get cinnamon ones, which are the browny colour. And then it's just variations on a form, really. If there's markings on the normal yellow colour, that's called green variegation. If it's cinnamon markings, then it's a brownie variegation. The darker yellow we call yellow, the paler yellow we call buff. They used to call them mealy and jonk. Going
Really?
back, yeah. And it was much more descriptive because you didn't have yellow is a colour.
Yeah.
It's a type of feather.
Yeah.
You know, so the two, you know, it was far better and easier. The older fanciers got it right. We become lazy. But the green marking on the yellow ground bird, which is what that is, and that, if that were a white ground bird, it would come out the slate grey.
Right.
Just to confuse the issue, we call that blue.
There's a lot. It is. It is.
It's a slaty grey to a blue,
There's a lot
but it's
to
a
know.
slate blue. Yeah, yeah. And it's confusing to try and say it all to somebody right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so to me, if you were starting off, you shouldn't take more than maybe 2 pairs of birds. You've got 1 pair, and I would keep 2 buff cocks and 2 yellow hens, because if something goes wrong with one of them, you can switch partners. You can do that halfway through the season anyway. But it's enough to look after it, to learn the art of it. And I wouldn't pay a fortune either, you know. You want a fit and healthy bird, and you can buy those. From Yorkshires, you can pay a fortune for them if you want to. But you can get them for less than 50 quid a bird as well. I mean, if you're looking at a bird and there's an ideal model, and so we want that carrot shape. If you look at your birds and you look at the birds that are winning on the show bench, and you'll see a difference, and you'll see where you're lacking.
Yeah.
You maybe excel in certain areas, but if you, in my position, if I'm bringing a bird in, I want something that's got something that I haven't got. If I can get that from a source that I know fits my birds, I'm likely to reproduce and to benefit from it, really. If I can't, then it's just an outcross, and who knows? And you're going to put it to one of your better birds.
Yeah.
You risk losing everything through that pairing if it doesn't fit, you know. So you've got to watch where you don't shop around.
No.
Make your decision. So again, someone starting, it's a show bird. Go to the shows, visit the shows,
And get to know what's winning, and
see the breeders, talk to the breeders. You'll befriend certain people, and shop with them and stay with them. Okay, bring something in different and create your own line. But you don't want Brian Keenan the second. You want Sean, you know.
Yeah, you're on.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. And that's the advice I'd give people.
Good advice, Brian. Is there any breeders from years ago that you used to respect? Like you think?
Loads, yeah.
Loads. Now maybe gone.
Well, a lot of them have gone. Yeah, the majority, to be fair. I mean, when I started 60 years ago, so a lot have gone. We had a great chairman, YCC, a fellow called Joe Cludery from Bradford. And one of the things he taught me, well, he taught me 2 really good. Firstly, he said he never made a mistake, except once he said I stuck a stamp on an envelope upside down. Of course you did, Joe. Of course you did. He taught me that when he pairs his birds, he pairs the same body shape together. He said, because you're more or less forced to produce more of the same. He said, and if I've kept them, it's because I like them.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The other thing he said is, if I like a nest, a chick in a nest, invariably I like another chick in the nest or another chick in the nest, because it's a standard quality. And you don't know which bird is going to produce your best chicks. And it could be the bird that you're selling. He said, so if I keep one because I like it, I'll invariably keep at least a second.
Right.
And I've worked with those 2 ideas, and they do work, you know. You pick up tips from different people along the way. But yeah, those 2 particularly from Jim. I'm going to show you my soft food, or the egg food as we used to call it. I tend to make my own as opposed to using a proprietary. And I don't add any extra eggs. I used to. The reason I don't do is eggs do, especially if we ever get any warm weather, they tend to go sour, and that's when E. coli and bacteria. So I've been working away from eggs. I've tried all sorts of different things over the years, but what I tend to do now is a proprietary brand of soft. This is a Spanish one, which is straightforward. They're soft food. A third of that, some pinhead well, it's not pinhead oatmeal, it's rusk. So same as you put in your sausages, I get it from a butcher's suppliers. And an equal amount of Bailey's number 1 horse food. I want to build them big and strong. And those 3, I mix them together in a big bowl and I prepare myself a coffee jar full. I add a little bit of Niger seed and a little bit of sunflower hearts, just the seed-eating birds at the end of the day. And that's me go pack, if you like, straightforward, just keep it stored, and it's my mixture. So 1 in. If you're going to add additives, I add diatomaceous earth because it keeps the birds cleansed inside. But anything else that you might want to put in, that's the time to do it, powder based. So into that, I would then add, this is pearl bead, and if you're a canary breeder, you've got to like ice cream because that's where the storage jars come from. 1 of these, and there's the pearl before you soak it. So I use that amount and that into a cup, same amount of water, and it comes like this. It takes about half an hour. So straightforward stir through. I did use a different product last year and didn't do any of this, which worked, but I've come away from it, A, because it's expensive, but secondly, it's an all-in-one universal feed. You can use it instead of seed, so it's got all sorts in. So whilst I've still got some of it left over, I put again just 1 scoop back in. That's it, done. Thank you, Mr. Ice Cream Man. And there's my mix. I also add soak seed, and I have it, if you can see there, so it's just nicely sprouted, because starch turns to sugar. You've got all the little, it's soft, it's succulent, and the birds love it, and they're seed eating birds. That starts life as this, and that whole mixture in there is 2 of those. That's all it is. Look at the amount of rapeseed in there. That's because I'm adding more than they leave. So 2 of those. I soak it for a day in water. I add bleach into that to kill any bacteria and what have you. And then I progressively, over the next 3 days, run it under the tap 3 and 4 times a day as it sits on the kitchen window ledge. I'll have no one telling me off. and it ends up as this. So that goes in. Now, Phil Warren doesn't mix his soak seed in with his soft food. And he believes if you've got anything bad in the soak seed, you've tainted the whole mixture. And I agree with that. But having said that, I've washed it continuously, how many times? And I've started off by bleaching it. So I've killed anything that's wrong. And I've not lost any birds since I've been using soak seed this way. So there's the mixture. I add, this is cauliflower. It's just a floret ground up. The birds love it. And the old favourite, broccoli, same again. Little floret. And garden peas. There we go. And there's my mixture. Now that's going to sit. Normally I'll mix this overnight and it'll sit in the fridge and dry off. You can feel it's still a little bit damp. That'll dry out in 5 to 10, 20 minutes, something like that, and we're ready to feed the birds. But that's all come from a coffee jar, and if you like, 2 scoops of that seed. Nice and simple. that'll feed all my birds 24 hours basically.